The wind howled across the parched Montana plain, whipping dust into the air like angry spirits, and in the heart of that small, God-fearing town called Red Mesa, where the saloon's piano was never quite in tune and the church bell hadn't rung in weeks, a single sentence was about to change everything. It began on a late summer afternoon, the sun blistering hot and the streets quiet, when the notorious outlaw Virgil Kane, a man with a bounty high enough to make even the most law-abiding citizen's hand twitch toward a gun, rode into town with 6 men at his back, their faces hidden beneath wide-brimmed hats, their horses kicking up clouds that seemed to choke the very air. Virgil was a predator, his eyes the cold blue of winter rivers, and he strode into the saloon like he owned it, sweeping his gaze over the patrons until it landed on her. Eleanor Briggs, the tall, willowy woman with auburn hair and a spine as straight as the day she walked into Red Mesa alongside the new blacksmith, a quiet man named Samuel who carried the weight of old wars in his eyes. Eleanor had been pouring coffee at the counter, her wedding ring catching the light, when Virgil smiled that slow, wolfish grin and stepped forward, his voice oily and smooth as he offered Samuel a stack of gold coins so high it made the room hold its breath. "I'll take the woman, blacksmith, and you'll take the gold. Seems fair." But before the stunned silence could thicken, Samuel's hand curled protectively around Eleanor's, his jaw tightening, and he spoke 4 words in a tone that cut cleaner than any blade. "She's my wife. Not for sale." And those words stopped the outlaw cold, his smirk faltering as if he'd just been reminded of a law older than any one written in a man's heart. But Virgil Kane was not the type to back down, and the room tensed as his fingers hovered over the pearl handle of his revolver, his men shifting like wolves ready to spring. Yet Samuel didn't flinch. He met that outlaw's stare with the calm of a man who had seen worse than death and lived to tell of it. And when Virgil finally spoke again, it was with a sneer. "I wasn't asking." The gunfight that followed would become the stuff of Red Mesa legend, for Samuel, though quiet by nature, moved with a soldier's precision, shoving Eleanor behind the counter as the first shot rang out, the mirror shattering into 1,000 glittering pieces. Townsfolk scrambled for cover, chairs tipped over, and the air filled with the acrid stench of gunpowder, but Samuel fired true. His first bullet clipped the hand of the man to Virgil's right, sending the outlaw's pistol spinning into the sawdust. His second dropped another man who'd been aiming at Eleanor. Virgil snarled and charged forward, drawing his second gun, but Samuel was faster, stepping into the outlaw's momentum, twisting the weapon free, and slamming him against the bar so hard the bottles rattled. By the time the sheriff, breathless and red-faced, stumbled in from the street, Virgil Kane was on his knees, bleeding from a split lip and staring up at the blacksmith who'd refused to sell his wife for all the gold in the territory. The sheriff hauled the outlaw away, but not before Virgil looked back over his shoulder, something like grudging respect flickering in his icy eyes, and spat, "You've got guts, blacksmith." In the days that followed, Samuel and Eleanor became something of a quiet legend. Folks tipped their hats a little lower in respect. Mothers told their children about the man who'd faced down Kane without blinking, and in the evenings, as the sun dipped low and the cicadas hummed, Samuel could be found at his forge, hammer ringing on steel, while Eleanor brought him water and the two shared a look that spoke volumes. But for Samuel, it hadn't been about gold or guns or glory. It had been about a promise made under the open sky, with God as witness, that no man, no matter how feared, could put a price on. And in that simple truth lay the heart of the West. That love, real love, was worth more than gold, more than life, and worth defending with every breath. So if you believe in tales where courage stands taller than fear, where a man's word is his bond, And where the Wild West wasn't just about who could draw fastest but about who could stand firm when it mattered most, then ride with us. Hit that subscribe button, because we've got more stories of grit, heart, and unshakable devotion coming, and you won't want to miss a single one.